Sanbonani. All protocols observed, to all leadership in the government, the province, and the church. My parents, our children, our relatives. May I speak to my friend? You guys can listen, or you can leave the room. You'll decide what you want to do. So it's been a wild week, and I need to tell you about this wild week. I think the first thing I want to do is tell you that they loved the podcast. You were right. You were always right. Guys, she was always right, eh? I'll understand. So I want to first thank you for suggesting yourself as a guest on podcast. I want to thank you for saying, I want to produce the podcast, Kiko Paspani. She came to me and said she'd like to be a part of the podcast because she knew we were looking for a producer. So she came on board. And the first thing she said to me was, but you know, if they see us working together. And she said, that's all the more reason why we must work together. Let them talk if they want to talk. This is the kind of woman Thabiso was. She was about, I'm intentional about what I want to do, and I'm going to get it done. But anyway, so like I was saying, Wednesday last week was a tough day because you took ill while we were recording. And the fact that from there we had to rush you to hospital, everyone was in a panic, was quite a trauma for everyone. I mean, your faithful assistant, Motlatsi, was there by your side from the get-go. She was incredible. And the fact that we had dinner with you on Thursday night and you're in great spirits despite your headache is why none of this makes sense. It doesn't make sense. But one thing I appreciate, especially about these children that you blessed us with, is the fact that they are exactly like you. I'll give you an example of your daughter, Wandi. You know that 2 hours after you left us, and we're in the room, all of us are crying, we're not okay. As soon as the tears had dried for a little bit, Wandi turns to me and says, Papa, are you ready to be a single parent? And I chuckled because I was like, that's something you would say. So you've clearly raised yourself. Later that same day, I'm taking a walk in the yard with Lifika. We're talking about the events of the day. And while we're walking with Lifika, Lifika says to me, Papa, I hope you know I don't want a stepmother. And I said, yes, Lifika, you've made it very clear. But then again, I chuckled because there's something you would say, because you found a silver lining in every single cloud. No matter how bad things were, you'd always be the first one smiling, the first one praying, the first one giving thanks and being grateful. Let me tell you about Tato. Tato has been solid this week. You've raised an incredible young man. His event on Sunday that you were his #1 cheerleader about went well. And we agreed with Tato that the event must carry on because you pushed him to make the event happen. So based on how we have raised these incredible pups, I know for a fact that they'll be okay. Like you said on the podcast, Renelo has turned into an incredible woman. And again, that's thanks to you because of how you manage the dynamics of raising and co-raising someone else's child. The fact that you and Teboho, without even having a meeting, found balance in raising Renelwe, for me, says a lot about the kind of woman you are. I hope you're ready for the gossip. So, on Wednesday, we had a prayer service for you. And all of your prayer warriors were there. The problem is some of them didn't know you were praying with other people. So there was a bit of a healthy tension, because now they're comparing how long they've been praying with you versus how long the others have been praying with you. And it was beautiful to behold, because in my mind, in everyone's mind, where did you find the time to do everything that you did? Full-time mother, author, raising bees. Now I must raise bees because I can't get rid of the bees. So not only do we have 4 children, we've got bees that I must raise. Thank you. The fact that at 12 you'd be up praying with a group of women. At 2 in the morning you'd be baking. At 3 you're praying with another group of women. At 5, you are up getting Lifika ready for school, fixing his lunch. At 7, you're on the road taking Wandi to school to Alberton. Where did you find the time? Where did you find the time? And the one thing I've learned from you, Mati, is that get the things done that you want done. That's what this woman did. She came up to me and said, I want to open up a swimming school. We need to buy a house because it has the pool. And I was like, okay, where do I sign? She opened a swimming school because that's what she wanted to do. When we announced that we were going our separate ways about 1.5 years ago, after having been apart for 2 years, in that period, she's like, I need bees because I want to start a honey company. And she's like, it's a family business, so you're a part of it. I was like, oh, okay. So we are now raising bees. And what did she do? She went ahead and she did that. Jiggy Jiggy, I'm writing a book. She wrote the book. I'm joining one of the ministries at church. She did that. I think she was a part of, how many? 3, 4 ministries in the church? 4. She was part of 4 different ministries in the church. She'd be ushering, she'd be doing praise and worship, she'd be volunteering midweek, and still raising these kids like a full-time parent. That's what I appreciate about you, and that's what I'm going to miss about you, my friend. I could carry on, but we'll have a conversation, just the 2 of us. The one thing I'm going to miss the most about you, Mati, is your volatile tongue that was linked to your ever-working mind. Whenever I was in public with you, I was always worried about what you're going to say to whom because you don't agree with them. She was always quick to stand up and say, no, but this is wrong. Why is this happening? Because that's who she was. We went to a parent-teacher meeting at one of our kids' schools, and she says to me, I don't see any black teachers here. That's when I knew she's going to stand up and tell them that why are there no black teachers in your school? And she stood up and she said, My kids are black, and the only black people that are seeing here are cleaning and doing the garden. Could we please have some black teachers in your school? Within a year, at least there was a black maths teacher. And that's all thanks to her deciding that we can't allow misrepresentation to happen in a majority black country. And that is the person that she was. I told the story in our podcast, and the kids know. When we go out, we pray the food is perfect. Because if the food is bad, she will tell the waiter, please take it back and bring it back when it's right. And my biggest fear always is, what if they spit in the food at the back there? But because she tells people things with love, she does things with love, often I am certain the food was safe when it came back. But that's the kind of woman this woman was. She left nothing unsaid. There's a time she told me, I found a church for us and the kids. It was the barn. And she went, checked out the church, and comes back and she's like, it's too white. And I say to her, and I know you told them, right? She's like, yeah. I asked them, where are the black faces? She gets to praise and worship, and she's like, your hymns are too white. Where are the black hymns? That is the kind of volatile tongue this woman had. If she sees an injustice or something she feels is wrong, she will address it. And I think we can all learn from that. Whenever she had issues with anything I do or say, she would tell me immediately. I have about 15 messages I was meant to respond to from her because I thought we had time. But one thing I've learned is we don't have time. Your time is not guaranteed. So leave nothing unsaid. Leave absolutely nothing unsaid. Leave empty because you've said everything that's in your heart, in your mind, in your soul. There's another time, I don't know what was happening with the Department of Education. She's like, you know, Panyaza must do this. And I was like, I'm sure you've told him. She's like, yeah. So, Premier Panyaza Lesufi knows Thabiso very well. If anything went left or more right than it should, she would tell him that this is what I feel you guys ought to do as a movement, because that is the kind of woman that she was. But the long and the short of why I'm saying we must all try be more like Mati here is the fact that she did everything with love. Even when things were not going well between us, I don't remember once her raising her voice to me. Unfortunately, I was bullied as a child. So I know how to fight dirty. And I would often fight dirty. And she'd remind me that why can't we disagree with love? Because that is who she was. Be love. Thank you. Did this thing just, or is from someone? Oh, it's from you. Oh, I thought it just, because I was like, you see? Anyway. When we did the podcast recording last week, one of the reasons we'd agreed we were going to do the podcast, not knowing that it would be the last time we chat the way we did, is because we wanted to talk about our journey. We wanted to talk about how we ended up disbanding our union. We wanted to talk about all of that because we both learned a lot from that process. Because this woman personified love, she forgave me more times than I deserved. I look back at the times that she forgave me for whatever I might have done or not done, and she would relentlessly not give up on me as a human being. Even when she said, maybe we must just cut our losses, she said it with love. She said it with love and said to me, we're not going to fight about this. And we have kids to raise, and we're going to all go for counseling, and we're going to all get through this with love. And that's why to this day, our parents think, you guys are joking. You guys have been together all this time. Because we did everything with love because of this woman. Any other person would have probably walked away long ago. But because she was love, she didn't give up. And I think the only thing I owe her that was meant to be delivered last week when we were recording the podcast was an apology in public for any heartache that I'd caused her. That was the point of that podcast. But I never got a chance to. So I want to do it here because it's still something I feel I owe her. A public apology for any heartache, any heartbreak, any embarrassment, any matlo abatu that I caused you. Yes, I apologize to you in person, I apologize to the kids, but it was not complete until it was done in public. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry, Mati. Till we meet again.